Hi, and welcome to the Sideshow podcast, a podcast about the intersection of film and culture. My name is Jesse Kuba.
And my name is Taylor Ann Harris.
This podcast is sponsored by CL Creative Space,
a versatile space for all your creative needs. Check them out and let them know that we sent you.
Hey Taylor.
Hey Jesse, how you been?
I've been okay. I've been having a great time. How about you?
I've been pretty well, thank you. Busy working and trying to stay busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's been going on with you?
So I did go on a trip to Europe just to explore arts and stuff like that. Went to a couple of Picasso museums and things of that nature.
Okay.
Went to the Louvre in Paris. They have like a whole Leo da Vinci section there. The Mona Lisa was there, and the Last Supper was there as well. So those was like a big monumental piece of art to see.
Copy.
I will say when I went to Rome, I just I didn't plan it. I just happened to be there for Easter.
Okay.
And so I went to the Vatican City, as one does in Rome, for the Easter Sunday blessings
Oh,
from the Pope.
So you got to see the Pope.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us about that.
I was part of a select few.
That's fantastic.
To see him on his last day on earth, which was a crazy, experience.
Can only imagine.
We got there, they wheeled the Pope out. He said about 2 or 3 lines of the Sunday blessing, then someone else took over from there.
Okay.
And, there's like 300 people out there. And it's almost like a concert because anything that happens, people are just like, yeah. Oh, wow. I'm like, okay, cool. Sure. But at the end of the service, I left and, hopped on the plane to get back here.
Okay.
And mid-flight, I found out that the Pope had died, which was really shocking to me.
Yeah, I can only imagine. That's probably tough to process.
A lot, especially when you're stuffed and sandwiched between a lot of people in a tight space you can't really move around.
That's right.
I had to just hold that until I got back out of that plane to process it.
Okay. What would you say was the highlight of that trip?
I have to say, when I was in Paris, I ran into a good friend of ours, a co-founder of the Black Film Connect, Eric Webb.
Oh, very nice. Shout out Eric Webb.
Shout out to Eric. The funny thing is, I haven't seen him in over a year or so, and we live an hour away from each other. Mm-hmm. And it took us being in a different country, in a different hemisphere to connect. But it was fun.
Yeah.
We got a couple drinks, and then we had dinner.
That's awesome.
It was fantastic.
That sounds like a serendipitous moment right there.
Yeah, it was. It very much was. But what have you been up to lately?
Oh, man. This past week, actually, I was working on a commercial shoot. And the commercial shoot was for, I can't say, an NDA tech company. They're going to be putting out some information on a big event they're doing. And it's been really cool to be a part of that. That shoot in particular had 3 dollies, and from what everyone was saying, that was a huge deal. I was a production assistant on this job, so it was cool to see a big, huge shoot like that here in San Francisco. It felt good to be a filmmaker last week. Yeah, it feels hopeful.
Yeah, we've had some dire periods with the writer's strike.
That's right.
And how COVID affected the movie theater. So it's good to see that productions of all forms have been kicking up lately.
That's right.
But how do you compare that to your experience on smaller indie projects that you've worked on?
Oh man, it's like night and day. There's each type of set is chaotic in its own right. But an indie shoot, there's just something about the love, the care, and concern that's put into it. It's a smaller crew, likely mostly friends, just like how we shoot our podcast. And it's cool to see people coming together on passion projects. Commercial shoot, you're talking about budgets of in the millions,
right,
for one.
Right.
So you could only imagine. And then your crew of, 10 people is now a crew of 250.
Yeah.
So it's just very different.
I remember one of my early PA gigs.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the hazing process or the hazing thing that happens when you're a PA. It's the coffee run.
Okay.
I did like 26, 27 cups of coffee. And
By yourself?
I was like, that's my question. Like, is someone gonna help me? They just gave me the key. You're the runner. Get the car. Get the
Figure it
coffee.
out.
And I'm just there at Starbucks. Like, again, this is my first time. This is my first time as a PA. And I was just like, I guess I'm gonna get the 26 cups of coffee and figure it out.
That's
And
right.
when I got all the coffee with everyone's name on it, because the
That's
names are there, and you got to
spelled
give it to
right.
every exactly, you know. I don't know. They did like a round of applause for me, which I don't know. I didn't know how I felt about that. Are you applauding me
Succeeding?
for succeeding in bringing coffee, or are you succeeding? I mean, are you clapping because the hazing process has been performed? I don't know.
Okay.
But I would never forget that day because I was like, damn, how am I going to move 26, 27 cups of coffee?
That's hilarious. That's funny. How did you get into filmmaking?
Wow, that's a big question. I will say, when I was 7 years old, I was born and raised in Nigeria, and Nigeria has a different film consumption culture.
Okay.
I think, in America, it's so much about going to the movie theaters. But back home, we don't really go to movie theaters that much. We kind of make our own theater in the sense that when someone like buys a movie, especially in the neighborhood that I grew up, when a neighbor bought a movie, like they'll go door by door and knock on everyone's door and it's like, we got this movie, we're gonna watch it at this time if you want to come. So
Oh.
what that ends up happening is, especially when I was a kid, you have this room just full of kids just watching whatever movie, and everyone has something to eat. It's like it becomes like a fellowship of some sort.
That's so cool.
And that was kind of how I grew up experiencing film.
Okay.
And then when I was 7 years old, there was this movie called Troy, directed by Wolfgang Peterson, R.I.P. Starring Brad Pitt. It was a big, like sword and sandal movie.
Okay.
But I was 7 years old, and the uncles came into the house, and they put the movie on. And for anyone who has seen Troy, you would know that, it was like my first sex scene that I saw as a child.
There was a lot
like
going
my
on.
first like battle, because bloods and guts and just like people dying in crazy ways.
Left and right.
And spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Troy at this point,
You should.
it's the first movie I watched where like the main character dies. You know what I mean? So that kind of experience just like
It
was
takes you back.
so much. And I was like, I need to feel this again.
I hear you.
And that's how my love for film really started. I started chasing that feeling. And I would say multiple times I've been successful in watching movies that can evoke that feeling in me. But sometimes, there's some movies that are just for fun.
That is very true. That is very true. That's
What
so
about
cool.
you? Yeah, what got you into like wanting to work on set?
Oh man, I have been around the world in terms of just work and stuff. My background is actually in biology. I have a biology degree with a minor in chemistry.
What?
So I intended to go to med school, but here we are. I first got involved with film, I would say, as a background actress. My first commercial was a Boda Box commercial, which is a box wine. It was a Super Bowl spot. I was not even the main actress. I was BG background. The principals were corgis, and it was so funny. And they put these puppies in jerseys, and they had pockets on either side, and they had these box wines on, and that was the job. Was like you hold these dogs, and then you let them go, and they run. And it was so great. But that's how I first got into film. COVID hit. So things slowed down significantly. From there, my next background acting job was 2021, where I worked on season 1, episode 1 of Blind Spotting, the TV show, as a background actress. There, I made friends with one of our friends and founder of BFC, Adai, and he was like, "Hey, what are you doing on set today?" And I said, "Background, and he just kind of gave me some game, like, well, PAs make, this. Today I'm a PA, normally I coordinate X, Y, and Z. So I said, okay, started asking some questions. Moving forward, I joined Black Film Connect. From there, I got my first gig working on a Maker's Mark commercial as a PA.
Wow.
And it wasn't hard. And I was like, this is cool. PA could be hard though. Don't get me wrong.
There are certain days.
There are hard days. But that shoot was great.
Yeah.
I had a great time. And from there, I just wanted to experience more. And every year, it's been more and more and more work. So I've been grateful.
Wow, I just learned something about you with the biology and chemistry.
Yes.
Because when I got into college, my major was mechanical engineering.
Okay.
And so I did that for like 2 years. I have a degree in math for the amount of calculus classes I had to take.
That's right.
And all the physics classes and organic chemistry and things of that nature. That's very interesting to learn because I'm very into like science and
Hell
stuff,
yeah.
especially like biology about the body and things of that nature. My girlfriend is a nurse, so I'm always peeking into her books and trying to learn some new stuff about the body.
Absolutely. I feel like for me, I'm a naturally curious person, so studying science made sense. I also am someone who likes to understand methods and why we do things. So that was why I chose that. So it's also very relatable now. I feel like all the skills that I've kind of gained from going through that experience as a college student and then working in a lab have also prepared me for on-set because you kind of have to think on your toes. You have to be ready for a solution. When I'm working with people in other departments, it's like, okay, tell me what you need, but I also want to understand like how this process works so that, because I want to eventually be a producer. Yeah. So it's like I need to understand how all these things work so that I can solve a problem before it becomes a problem, right? And I feel like that's a science brain, which also translates into film. So I'm grateful for my experiences there.
Yes, I would agree that, filmmaking is logical. The experience of watching a movie should be magical and spiritual, or at least emotionally evoking if you can get it to that level.
That's right.
But people don't know, people who haven't been on set don't know how like logistical making a film is. Yes. And how unflattering or all the beauty and all the romanticism we have about filmmaking doesn't tend to happen on set. No. It tends to happen once you're watching the finished film.
Exactly.
It's a struggle when you're making movies. Like I just made a feature film myself.
Tell us about that, please.
Okay. Now that you've asked. The name of my feature is The Moon is in Aquarius. It's a walk and talk rom-com that takes place in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. Basically, boy meets girl at a house party. There's an instant attraction. They ditch the party to explore San Francisco at night, and as the night goes on, they begin to fall in love with each other in the city.
Okay.
So it's a very nice, like Richard Linklater-ish type of movie. But the process of making that movie, we had like a 90-page script that we had to shoot in 9 days.
Wow.
And 8 of those days were in San Francisco. Okay. I think 7 of those days in San Francisco we were outside. And it rained that whole week.
Oh, no.
When I was
I had questions. I saw the rain scene and I was like, I wonder how they pulled this off. It was real rain.
It was Jesus. It was the sky.
Okay.
When you make a romantic film or a rom-com, right, rain is a cliche. Mm-hmm. So throughout the process, prepping to shoot the film, I was checking the weather forecast because I did not want any rain. I was like, I do not know rain in my movie. That's so cliche. I don't want that at all.
Yeah.
And when the week came to shoot the movie, it rained every day.
Oh, no.
Every day, which was, I would say the one good thing about that is that we had consistency. Mm-hmm. Like, different scenes had like rain or like water puddles on the floor.
Yeah.
So it felt like it was kind of planned, but
it's good for continuity.
It wasn't planned at all. It was very good for continuity, yes.
Okay, that's good. All right, so The Moon is in Aquarius is complete. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What happens next?
So last year we had our film festival run.
Okay.
We played at the San Francisco Black Film Festival, the Brave Maker Film Festival, San Diego Black Film Festival, Silicon Valley African Film Festival, and the Mishu Film Festival in LA.
Congratulations. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
You're
You
welcome.
know, I've watched the movie with a bunch of audience members, and it's gotten some good feedback in the house.
Oh yeah.
So that's very encouraging, for a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Right now we are working on a distribution deal,
Okay.
and
That's
hopefully,
exciting.
yes, yes, very much so it is. Um, but yeah, as that continues to progress, I'll drop more information on that. But we're very close. The movie will be released at some point this year on
Stay tuned.
the streaming services.
Okay. That's exciting.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
And on working on the film, I had a lot of BFC folks with me as well. I believe I had
Okay.
Adai was involved. Saretsi was also a co-founder
Shout
of
out to
BFC.
Retzi. Okay.
He DP'd for like 2 days.
Okay.
I would say one of my favorite scenes in the movie was one of the scenes that we shot in Castro in San Francisco,
Okay.
and Saretsi DP'd that day. And now, to be fair, we threw away the shooting schedule, and my AD was mad at me because we were just picking stuff up and just doing whatever we wanted in a way. Not the best working environment for a feature, but we just had really good ideas, and so we had to try them out. And I
Yeah.
think it came out really well in the film.
It,
Um,
it sounds like you took the necessary risks.
the big financial risk, yes. I self-funded the film,
Oh wow.
which is no joke.
Yeah.
I'm still recovering.
I hear you. It's gonna come back.
Yeah, amen, amen. But when you believe in something and you have a voice, you need to try and get it done. I think
That's
a lot of
right.
people have really great scripts and they're waiting for someone to give them the money to make it. They're waiting to be discovered. They're waiting to be found out or whatever, and you could wait forever. At the end of the day, if you're an artist, you need to make work, and no matter how small it is, no matter how you might think maybe it won't help like your career in general as a filmmaker, I still think it's very important to continuously exercise that muscle of filmmaking and just continue to get work out there. So for anyone listening who's holding on to a project, who wants to be a director or a filmmaker, just do it. Is what you got to do.
Yeah.
Find a way to make it on a responsible budget and just get your work out there.
Yeah.
And I really want to thank BFC because a lot of folks who were on set for the film and, helped me make the film possible were
That's
a lot of
right.
BFC members. And so BFC is Black Film Connect. I was also invited to this group of filmmakers by Adai.
Yep.
We went to school together. I went to school with Adai, Saretsi, and Eric Webb. We went to San Francisco State University, and that's where I met the core group of folks who run the Black Film Connect. But it was during COVID, after I had graduated, that Adai hit me up and was like, we have this WhatsApp chat. We're getting all these filmmakers together from college and just people that we know. And that's kind of how it started.
Yeah.
And now it has grown into this thing where we have over 200 members. And
Oh, we're closer to 4.
We're close to 400
We're close to
now?
4, man. We might have even passed it by this time. I'll check later today.
That's
Isn't that cool?
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel really, really good about Black Film Connect as, a place that I started off from as well. A short film I made back in the day called Red Night during COVID.
Okay.
Like 90% of the crew were BFC folks who came down to San Jose, which is not an easy drive, especially when it's a night shoot and things of that nature. But they came down and really helped me get that short made. And it's the confidence from making that short that gave me the ability to think I can make a feature. So
That's
again,
wonderful.
shout out to BFC for
Yes.
that.
Shout out to BFC. And that's also why we're here, because the Sideshow podcast is essentially that, to allow us to platform some of these filmmakers, right? To showcase to the world so they can show their skills.
Yes, definitely. I think one of the goals of this podcast is really to, spotlight local filmmakers in the Bay who have something to say and we should put them out there so that people can connect with them and their work can connect with people. And hopefully, at the end of the day, we want our work to speak to someone. And I really hope that by doing this podcast and spotlighting filmmakers and talking about film in the Bay in general would help, get other filmmakers excited and give them the motivation to continue.
That's right. And honestly, I can see it in real time. Last fall, we were working on a feature film in downtown Oakland. It's not out yet. I don't know if it's coming out, but I'll let you guys know when it does, if it does. But I just saw that OSA is down there, the Oakland School of the Arts. When we were filming down there, I just saw like when kids were changing classes and they were looking around like, oh, what's this? And asking questions and just seeing their interest spike because we're filming a movie there. I'm always going to go back to the kids. And I feel like this podcast is also a vehicle to get that to them in this way because they want to know what's up with film. They're not talking about that necessarily. If you don't go to a school of the arts, you don't get this kind of information. So I'm hoping that kids will even listen to this so they can figure out what they want to do in film.
That's why we don't curse on this podcast.
Yes.
We got to have a space for everyone who has access to this to have it be beneficial to them.
That's right.
How has your experience so far as a member of BFC been?
Oh, man, I have been so grateful to be a member of BFC. Like I said, I was just background acting and just kind of just doing it for fun. It wasn't paying any bills, it was a hobby. It's created a whole different avenue in my life that I couldn't have even dreamed of. I grew up playing softball, so in my house, you played sports, you got your degree, and you're not doing no creative stuff because that doesn't get you a degree. So it's nice to have this outlet because I feel like I probably should have been doing this the whole time. So
yeah, I definitely feel that. As a Nigerian, as you know how Nigerian parents are, when I switched from mechanical engineering to film, you think I started a war. You think, you think I turned water to to blood or something. The way I was attacked. I love you, Mom. It was for the right reasons. She made it back though. She bought me my first camera. She bought me a laptop I could edit with. But as she's getting me this stuff, she's complaining at the same time. She's like, "Okay, here's the camera, but I don't like what you're doing. You should go back to engineering.
Yes.
You go to math, go do accounting, or do something."
Yeah.
And I'd be like, "Yes, Mom, but thank you for the thank you for the camera. Thank you for your thoughts. I'll figure it out. I got you."
This movie is dedicated to Mom.
Do you know the funny thing?
What?
When we had our screening in Oakland, she came and she was sitting next to me. And when the movie was over, she was like, "I finally get it." You know what I mean?
That's fantastic.
Yes, that was a real victory in my mind because, she's been skeptical the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
When I told her how much I was going to spend on this movie, she was like, "A couple more from that, you could put a down payment." I was like, this is my down payment on my career and what I believe in. You know what I mean? So it was really like a very comforting or very exciting response from her when she said, "I finally get it."
Oh, I'm happy for you. That's exciting.
Thank you. But
That's
now
wonderful.
she's like, "I want more people in the film." Because that movie has mostly two main characters in the film. And now she's like, "Where's the other people? We get more people in there." I'm like, every extra person is money.
That's right.
I got to pay that person. They have a couple lines in the film.
That's right.
But it's nice to have your parents be excited about your artistic career as well.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. It just feels good. I don't know. There's something about not pleasing my parents that just kind of sits on my shoulder. And it's like, all right, well, let me just, I don't know. I feel like sometimes I move every day like they're right here. I don't know.
No, I feel like, if you're a good kid,
Yes.
just whatever a good kid is to
Yes.
you, you hear that voice all the time. When you're about to do something, they're right here.
That's right.
Would you do that if I'm right here with you? You know what I mean? Would you really get that right now? And look, to grow and to be independent, you have to shut up. You gotta dust that
Dust it
voice
off your shoulder, yeah.
and say, look, if I'm gonna make a mistake, I'm gonna make that mistake and I'm gonna learn from it.
You gotta let me fall on
But
my
I'm
face.
gonna do it.
That's
I'm gonna
right.
do what I think is good for my life. You know what I mean?
That's right. Well, I'm glad that you did, and I'm glad that your mom was able to see the value. So hopefully those talks will calm down moving forward.
They have.
Good. Good.
Now she's more like, what? When is the next
What's
one?
next?
When's the next one happening?
That's exciting.
I'm like, hold on, I'm working on something. We'll see. But I want to go back to something you said earlier. You've worked as a PA, so that's behind the camera.
Yeah.
And you've worked as background in front of the camera.
Yes, sir.
So which one do you like better? Not pitting them against each other.
Oh man.
But how does it feel to walk through those two paths, I guess?
I definitely background acting and acting in general now. I have a different mind frame around after being crew on set versus being background and never have worked on set before. I guess in my head it's two different things, but I think initially I was like excited to be background or even acting, whatever, because I just wanted to be seen on camera, like, oh cool. But after like running some numbers and seeing how often you get these jobs, I'd much rather be crew. Now, don't get me wrong, I'll do both. But I'd much rather be crew. It's more comfortable. You could, just get out there and get to work. Like, no one's worried about how oily your face is or, like, your shoes are dirty or, no one cares about that. We're just all out there accomplishing a task. And that actually reminds me of, like, team sports. So I enjoy working with the crew because I played Division I softball. So I miss that feeling. So getting back on set gives me that team vibe,
Yeah.
So I do prefer being crew.
I would agree with that as well. I've retired from my acting career. That's done.
No. Okay. Never give up.
Did not have enough range, okay? So I think I'm more comfortable behind the camera.
That's okay.
Yeah, but I would say being a PA, you get to move around the set and you get to learn a lot from what's going on rather than being in front of the camera.
That's right.
I worked on a Steph Curry commercial in San Francisco, and the director of that commercial, he had done like a movie on Netflix, and I was preparing to shoot The Moon's in Aquarius at this time.
Oh, cool.
So as they were setting up, I got to stand next to him and I just asked him all these questions that I had about, directing and all the voices in my head and all the thoughts that was scaring me.
Heck yeah.
And he just was like, yeah, just like you got to do it. Just calm down. Just, over plan, over prepare because you would need it once you start shooting. And that's like, I would not have had that access to him if I was, background in front of the camera, if I was not like one of the main, let's put it in the film perspective. Like if I wasn't one of the main characters in the film, I wouldn't have that closeness to the director to ask those questions or to learn from his experience.
You're so right.
So people think being a PA is like very, it's like the beginner's level, which it is.
It is.
But there's so much, if you look at the other way, like if you look at it with the cup half full, you could learn so much. You could be a sponge and just, soak up all that's going on around you. And you could literally learn filmmaking from being a PA, from being behind the camera.
And I definitely concur. I feel like a lot of my friends have moved on to different departments. I'm still cool being a PA because I want to be the best producer that I could be. And I want to work. So I'm not going to move up departments and then get less work. So that's my angle. But I definitely have been on many a sets where it's like, okay, let me take notes here. If I was the producer, I'd do it this way. I definitely enjoy being an office PA. I feel like that's where you learn all of the nitty gritty stuff.
Yeah.
But you're correct. I think being a PA gives you the respect for the rest of what's going on because you actually are in it and you're doing all the hard stuff.
Definitely doing all the hard stuff.
Yes. However, working on tech shoots aren't so bad. they're really great days. So it's like you might have a week of work that's horrible, and then your next few jobs are tech jobs, and it's really chill, and you're just putting out lunch.
Yeah.
I can't complain.
Yeah, like one of my easiest jobs was like a real estate PA like shoot thing.
Okay.
I just got to be in this like a really beautiful house.
Yeah.
And just chill, really.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
didn't do nothing.
Yes.
I still got paid. So I was like, these are the gigs that I need. But you also need those ones where you could actually learn from as
Absolutely.
well. You need that balance.
Absolutely. I think my most favorite shoots to work on, though, are studio shoots. Just saying. The outside company moves can be rough. So.
Look, man, after been like working on set and seeing how hard company moves are, that's another lesson that I learned from being a PA. Because when I was making my film, I was like, the least amount of company moves would be the best way forward. Because once you have everyone moved, then everyone got to set up again. And
it takes time.
Most of your day is gone. So, except maybe you have like the production designer and you have that like set pre-lit to a certain degree and things of that nature. Like company moves are very, very difficult.
Yes, I once did a shoot that the company moves took longer than the shots.
Wow.
And it was like, whose idea was this? Why are we doing this? But again, that goes in my producer notebook.
Indeed. What kind of movies are you interested in producing?
Oh, man. I am interested in producing any and everything. I think because I started in the Bay, we're very much a commercial market. So I've been kind of having my brain wrapped around that. I'm just happy to have work come through. I know a lot of my producer friends are having a hard time right now because work has been up and down. So I think I'll be happy to produce anything that I can elevate the production for. I'm happy to do a good job. All right.
So I think the last event we went to together was the premiere of Freaky Tales at the Grand Lake Theater.
That was quite the event.
How was that for you?
Oh, man. To see a movie premiere downtown Oakland in front of the historic Grand Lake Theater was just like everything. And again, I go back to the kids. It's exciting to see something like that as opposed to seeing the negative things that you see in the news in Oakland, So I was pleased. I was pleased to see that come through.
Did you work in that movie?
I was a background actress in that movie, actually. Yes, okay. Check out Freaky Tales. We also have a lot of BFC members who worked on that movie, and that we're really proud of. So.
And I think at the premiere, I saw Pedro Pascal was there.
Oh, yeah. Pedro Pascal, who was there. Too Short himself.
Yes, he was.
Simba, Stunnerman 02.
Yes.
Man, the list goes on, actually.
It was a packed house.
Yes.
But what are your thoughts on the film itself?
Honestly, so let me give you the perspective of, like, the background actors, because I was there for one day. We were shooting the Sweet Jimmy scene. So that was the only context I had. Oh, it's a Too Short movie. Cool. Watching the movie, and I'm not going to spoil it, but watching how they put everything together, chef's kiss. I think it's fantastic. My brain doesn't work like that. So it was cool to see it all just kind of come together and then kind of how the stories kind of intertwine. I don't know. I think it was cinematic greatness.
Wow.
How did you feel about the film?
I really love like the punk kids section of the film because we don't get to see that kind of characters that much anymore.
Yeah.
Because it seems like that form of or that culture seems to be dying a little bit. The garage bands are not as many as they used to be.
You're correct.
Everyone is streaming now and trying to get their followers up. But back in the day, you and your friends get together in the garage band and just play out and have a good time. So I think that film being, nostalgic in that way was very, very refreshing to see. So I really enjoyed it.
Yes. And then just, again, not to ruin the movie, but the cultural aspect about the clashing, I think that's a big deal. And I think, again, based on what's going on in the world today, go check out that movie because there's some fight scenes in there that I feel like we needed to see. Just saying.
No, I really enjoyed the film. I think another one that we've seen together is Opus.
Yes, we did see Opus.
Ayo Edebiri is in that film.
Mm-hmm.
She's from The Bear. The I don't know if is it The Bear, right? The Bear, the show on
She
FX.
She is in The Bear. Yeah,
the cooking show, which
yes, she is
phenomenal.
Very good.
Phenomenal movie. And then also there's John Malkovich in the film as well. He plays like spoiler alert. Spoiler, so y'all know. He plays like a retired artist who's coming out of retirement to a certain degree. For me, I thought the film was a good exercise in the sense of trying out a very crazy idea in terms of so basically the film is about this new artist, about this artist who, you know, has been doing music for a long time, but then took like a 30-year break and came back. It's like if the Beatles got back together now. That's kind of how it is. And this like music journalist who works for like the Rolling Stones wants to go get an interview with him because he hasn't done an interview in like 30 years. And so that's kind of how the movie starts to unfold, is when there's a gathering of people at the villa of this of this artist.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I enjoyed the concept of the film. I'm not so sure that it landed its point as it attempted to, but I think as it got a good laugh out of it, I got a good experience out of it.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I did appreciate just the way that some of the scenes were set up. It had my mind going like, oh, I wonder who's in the background here. That's kind of how I've been studying movies lately. It's just like, okay, what work went into this?
Right. So. I mean, the uniforms and all the colors that they had in there and the imagery, those really stood out to me. That's like very good, like production design.
Absolutely.
And trying to use like symbolism to tell the story.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed Opus. Another one that I saw that I'm not so sure many people have seen is Magazine Dreams, the film starring Jonathan Majors that has its asterisks around it.
Yes.
But just from a filmmaking perspective and just like an acting perspective, I think his performance was very, very good in that film. I think if it came out in 2023 after it been a Sundance hit, he most likely would have gone in a Best Actor nomination at the Oscars.
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes things happen.
I'll have to check it out.
I'll just keep it that way.
Thank you for the recommendation.
Yeah. There's a lot of good black, you know, artists making film out there, and that's one of the things that we'll do on this podcast. Also, like, you know, shed some light on the films that black filmmakers are putting out there, so that you all can go check them out and support as well.
That's right. Speaking of, I know we need to save this, but the outpouring of this most recent movie, I won't say the name, but the outpouring of this most recent movie put out by this Oakland filmmaker, and just the money that's been going into it, I just think is a beautiful thing. We all support, you know, and I think our platform, I would hope that we're able to highlight people in the same way so that our community can go support. Thank you for coming to the Sideshow podcast and listening to Jesse and I talk about our love of film. I got to learn some cool new things about Jesse I had no idea about.
Same here as well.
Yes, Science Nerds Unite. And with that said, please subscribe, like, rate, and review our podcast so we can continue to bring conversations like these to your streaming platforms. We're on Spotify, we're on iHeart, we're on YouTube, anywhere you can get your podcasts. Also, you can follow us at Black Film Connect on Instagram. Thank you for coming. Have a nice day.
See you soon. Bye.